Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elisa and today I'd like to talk with you about probably my greatest knitting flop ever. As you can see, this is a pretty different setup from what we're used to, but this is due to the specificity of today's video. So today I'd love to talk about a topic which is not that common in the knitting community, especially when it comes to knitting creators, I think. And I'd like to address this topic in this specific context because I really need to talk with someone about my most recent knitting flop, which is probably also the greatest knitting flop I've ever made. And unfortunately, I'm talking about a sweater that I was really excited about, which is my Busan Sweater by SAGA. Let me show you my finished object. So, this is my finished object. It's the Busan Sweater by SAGA, as I told you, and I made this one in Woolia by Gepard Garn in the color Anthracite, which I don't remember the color number, but I'll write it down below, of course. Or you can also check my Ravelry for all the details. Now, let me try this garment so that you can see and you can understand what I'm talking about, and so that I can show you what I don't like about this finished object. Now, thanks to the YouTube knitting magic, you will see me with this sweater on. And yeah, so let me tell you a little bit more about my process. I knitted this sweater with one of the recommended yarns, which is Woolia by Gepard Garn, and I should have held together with this one also a mohair, which of course the pattern, the suggested yarn in the pattern was Sweater by Gepard Garn. But I didn't do that because I really wanted to have a slightly lighter sweater, since Woolia is already an iron weight, worsted weight yarn, and I do not live in such a cold climate, and I also wanted to, of course, spend less money, because buying mohair for a sweater quantity of mohair would have been, I don't know, I probably should have spent 50 euros more, maybe 60 or even 70 euros more, in addition to Gepard Garn Woolia. So I decided to do my own thing. Of course, I swatched and I got gauge with 5mm needles. My gauge swatch was washed and blocked too. And it was perfect. I was so excited because I thought I don't know, I thought I could have my beautiful Busan sweater with, holding only Woolia by Gepard Garn. Now, let's go to the end of the process. I need, of course, size 2 because I really like the fit that this sweater had on the designer's pictures. So I need size 2, which almost has 40 centimeters of positive ease for my bust circumference of 87 centimeters. And we go to the end. Now, I tried the sweater before blocking it, and I do not have any picture, but it was very tight, and especially the sleeves were very short, and also the body was much shorter. And then I put that into the, I washed this sweater with wool soap so that I didn't have to rinse it, therefore causing maybe the sweater to felt a little bit. And when I took this out from the water, these had become, I don't know, huge, immense, and I wasn't expecting this from my gauge swatch. I really wasn't expecting this, and I could already tell that there was something wrong in this sweater, but nonetheless, I just put that on the blocking mat and pinned, you know, the cuffs so that they were the same size of the sleeves. I also tried to give a specific shape to the body because, you know, this sweater makes you do this pattern has you do some short rows here in the back to lengthen the back in comparison to the front, so I did everything that I was supposed to do, I think, but then when this was finally dry and I tried it on, well, this happened. I do not like this sweater. And I'm so sorry for that, I'm so sad for that, but I think I really need to talk about this issue with someone. So I think that I can list the reason and explain the reasons why I don't like this sweater, and finally I can tell you why I consider this my greatest and biggest knitting flop I've ever made. So far, of course. So the first thing that I don't like is the fit, actually, which is something unexpected for me. I had never knitted anything this much oversized on me before. I just knew I liked the pictures by the designer, but now that I'm trying on this kind of oversized look, I just realized that I don't like it that much. I think that I like oversized sweater, but not these super oversized. Probably I'm comfortable around 25-30 centimeters of positive ease, but definitely 40 centimeters of positive ease, that's too much. And this is something that I've learned through these, thanks to these garments. The second element that I don't like is the texture, the fabric of this piece. Actually, you can see how beautiful the stitches are here, that they are not stretched. But when I do like these on my sweater, and I hope it's alright on the camera, you can see there are some you know, bits and pieces from my undergarments that you can see, and I do not like that. And the reason why this happened is because I was stubborn, probably, and I didn't want to use mohair, and I didn't go down a needle size, probably. So one thing that is wrong is probably the size for the oversized fit. I should have knit size 1, and the other thing is the, you know, my yarn choices, which were pretty questionable. I think that if a designer suggests you to use mohair with a specific yarn, held together with a specific yarn weight, you should probably listen to them. Because there's a reason why they're doing this, and I didn't do that, but lesson learned. The other thing that I don't like is probably the shape of the sweater. So now I'm untucking these, you know, now the length is not a problem because I could, you know, do something for it and shorten it. But the problem is this thing that the back is longer than the sides, and it's pretty, you know, big here in this part of my body, on my hips, and also it feels like my dad's sweater that I'm wearing. It's as if I was wearing my dad's sweater, and I don't like it. So I was thinking about what I could do with this. And probably with this problem of the fit of the shape, you know, of the sweater, probably my choice would be to omit this part of the short rows down at the back, just to make the sweater all the same length in the front and in the back too. And probably I was thinking about doing also a split hem, because for the you know, bottom part of this sweater, because I think it would look better. It would have a pretty oversized fit, but with that, you know, detail that helps you have a shape in some ways. So definitely, just to sum this up, what I want to do, the reason why I consider this to be my greatest knitting flop is that I had some knitting flops in my past, but they were not as big, they were not those kind of knitting flops that made me want to frog the whole garment and reknit it. It was always something that I could deal with in my mind, I would say. But with this sweater, I don't know, the feeling of having it on myself, I just don't like wearing this. It doesn't make me feel special. It doesn't make me feel like I made this sweater, look at me. You know, I think that if you're a knitter, you know precisely the feeling that I'm talking about. This sweater makes me feel like I want to frog this and reknit it in exactly as I want it. So what I'm going to do is to, first of all, size down. Therefore, I will not knit size 2, but I'll knit size 1. And the main reason why I say this is because I don't like this oversizedness on me. I don't like to have 40 centimeters of positive ease on me, and this is something I've learned from this sweater. And I also don't like to have such huge, you know, this armpit is so low in comparison to my true armpit that I cannot watch this. No, I don't know, it doesn't it's not for me. So first of all, size down, knit size 1 instead of size 2. This would give me a sort of 25-30 centimeters of positive ease, which I know I'm pretty comfortable with, and I will pay much more attention to the width of the armholes, let's say. Second thing that I'm going to do is to change yarn combination. I will not use Gepard Garn Woolia, but instead I will use Gepard Garn Woolia held together with probably a silk mohair. Now I'm considering which silk mohair I should use, because this color is pretty hard to find. I don't know, it's called Anthracite on Gepard Garn's website, but it's also very close to sort of navy blue. So probably I would go for an anthracite color, but very, I don't know, not a very warm anthracite, but cold anthracite. I don't know if this makes any sense, but this is what we're working with. And I will probably use, I think I will be looking for an ethically produced mohair, such as Knitting for Olives of silk mohair, or I know that also Berenice by the Rerum Natura, which is the Rerum Natura's silk mohair, should be ethically produced. And I will try to match the colors perfectly. I know that with Knitting for Olive it's a little bit hard because I had some bad experiences choosing colors from their website, but we will try. And I will gauge swatch, considering also that the weight of this sweater, which is 500 grams of sweater, will make my final garment be very wide and stretchy. But probably the silk mohair will help, you know, making everything, will help seeing the garment to stay put together, let's say, in some ways. And what I'm also going to do is to, of course, shorten the body. First of all, I will not make the short rows down at the back. There will still be short rows at the top of the shoulders and of my back. And I will also try and make a split hem. The length that I'm looking for is something like this, I would say. Something at the middle of my hips. Yes, it's a little bit hard to visualize, but the good thing is that this garment is made in the round, of course, and it's also a raglan, so I can easily like try this on and you know, evaluate how long I will have to go. Now that I'm talking about these knitting flops, I should say that there are also some good points about, of course, this sweater. I really love, you know, the gauge that I got for especially the collar here, and here for this beautiful cable detail in the middle. And I also love that with this sweater I probably learned much more than I did with other successes that I had in the past. Like, I learned that I don't like super oversized sweater on me. I learned that I don't like to have this kind of shape for my sweaters. I learned that I should use the exact yarn weight that a sweater calls for, and that I should listen to the designers, that because they're probably more experienced than me. And I also learned that if I don't like something that I made, it's not bad, and it's not a bad thing to say that I didn't like it, that I don't like it, that I need to remake it, but it's good. And I think that this is an important message to share with you, especially on the knitting social community, because sometimes you have the feeling that influencers, knitting influencers, or knitting YouTubers, or knitting podcasters — I don't consider myself an influencer, but as a matter of fact, I am on knitting YouTube and Knitstagram. So sometimes you have the feeling that they always do right and that they always succeed. But in this case, I didn't. In this case, it was a huge flop, if not for the fact that I learned so much from this. So this is the reason why I decided to dedicate an entire video to this sweater. It's really a project, it's still a project that's in my heart, and it's still a project that I cannot wait to, you know, to face again, I would say. But for the moment I have other plans, so I will give this one a rest. I will search for the perfect shade of mohair, and I will come back to you with the second episode of my Busan Sweater saga, let's call it like that, to show you, I hope, a finished project which is also successful, in a sense that I will be wanting to wear these every day of my life, as I do with all of my own sweaters. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to be updated on my Busan Sweater saga, please follow me also on Instagram at Elisa Knitting Stories, and you can also subscribe to the channel to learn a little bit more about what I'm doing with my Busan Sweater and with other projects. This would really help me a lot. If you enjoyed this video, please consider also giving it a like, and I cannot wait to be back in the next weeks with another video for you. So I'm wishing you happy knitting, and see you in the next one. Bye bye!